Y'all, we made it to December. It's true. It happened. We're doing it. Congratulations on making it to December. Oh, I forgot to say, and our colleagues at the California School-Based Health Alliance, Amy Blackshaw, there we are. I want to welcome you as Tina just invited you. Yesterday was Giving Tuesday. How many emails did we all get for Giving Tuesday? So many. Maybe we were the ones sending the emails. I want to welcome you in the chat to share who you are and your role, and maybe one organization that you donated to yesterday, or if you didn't, one that you encourage folks to donate to. Um, I'm a big supporter of Free From, which is an organization that supports survivors of domestic violence to start their own companies and really embrace financial literacy. And I'm not paid by them to say that. So that's just me promoting them. Oh, Doctors Without Borders. Nice. That's such a good one. Nice. Okay, welcome. Taking a breath. Okay, if you're just joining us, a big welcome to all of you. We invite you to share who you are, where you are in the chat, and one organization that you donated to yesterday or that you invite people to get to know. May not even be donate, might just be like a get to know, so that we can all learn about who we're connected to and what we're caring about in the world. A really good December to everyone. I want to move us ahead. If I can move us ahead. There we are. Okay. Oh, this is so good. Hold on. I just have to take a pause moment. Okay. We've got a local animal shelter. We have Humane Society, Ag in the Classroom from El Dorado. Uh-huh. Okay. Love. This is great. So today, here's what we are going to experience together today. In a moment, we'll do a more purposed community connector. This one is a congenial community connector. In a moment, we'll do a more purposed one. It will not be dyad breakouts, in case any of you groan every time we say you're about to go into breakouts with one person. That's not going to happen. But we'll all stay in the room and connect to today's theme, which is going to be led by the Imperial County Sustainability TCT. We love the name Miriam and Stephanie, keeping the work alive. So we'll close out the vision from Miriam and Stephanie was that we close out 2025 by really thinking about how are we sustaining ourselves, how are we sustaining the work, and what our vision for that is looking ahead. We'll have a moment to hear from West Ed and any other announcements that are in the room. And actually, these are going to be flip-flopped. We'll also then have time to be broken out into our different cohorts of grantee identities to talk about what we really want and look forward to or imagine for 2026. And then we'll close. So that is the flow of today. Tina will drop one more time the PDF of today's slides. This is being recorded, and both all materials and recordings are always uploaded onto the BHSSA Grantee Hub. Okay. If you've got any tech needs, we welcome you to chat privately to Nikki on TechHost, and she will help you get that all sorted out. Okay, wonderful. I'm going to kind of move us through these. If you don't know us yet, we've almost been now a full year of the STAC, the Statewide Technical Assistance Coordinator, but I just want to name that we are a collaboration of the Center for Applied Research Solutions with the California School-Based the School-Based Health Alliance. It's a healthy alliance, and it's also the Health Alliance, and we coordinate and collaborate with the 4 TCTs, all supported by CBH to make sure that the way we're building community is supported and resourced. So that is who we are. Okay, I'm gonna just do a quick who's in the room shout outs and move us ahead. Oh, I'm gonna try and move us ahead that way. Okay, if we can get folks in the room who are a phase 1, 2 in the room, if you might maybe put a hashtag in chat if you're a phase 1, 2 grantee. Original. Okay. Yes. Y'all have been around Some of you have been doing this now for 5 years, some for 3. Yes. Cool. Good hashtags. Nice. I don't know who did this. Was that Jimmy Fallon? Who did that for hashtag? Who did that? Okay, if you are a phase 3 grantee, okay, yeah, let's do an exclamation point for phase 3 grantee. If you're a phase 3 grantee in the room, so that's Alameda, Berkeley, Butte, Calusa, etc. And you might be both. You might be both. You might be a hashtag and an exclamation point. We're all about the multiple hats. Cool. Nice to see all of y'all in the room. And let's get some love for our phase 4 grantees. So if you are a phase 4 grantee, let's just put the number 4, make it easy. I've lost my creativity. Phase 4 grantee in the room. Nice. Who are we? Who are we? We're 3, 4, 2, whatever. We're here. We're doing the work. Okay. Good. I'm so glad to see all of you. As we mentioned, we've got 4 TCTs, 3 counties: Tehama data collection, that's led by Janelle and Sarah; Placer program implementation, led by Ali and Christina; and Imperial leading partnership development with Irene and Denise; and sustainability being led by Miriam and Stephanie. And you'll get to hear from them today. Okay. So, some of us ate a lot of potatoes last week. I just want to do a quick, how are we doing this December 3rd, y'all? How are we doing this December 3rd? And for the universal screening grantees, this is an official screening assessment. No, this is not true. Do not use this assessment with any of your students. On a scale of potato, how are you feeling today? What are we feeling in the room? How are we feeling today? Where is this moment catching you? In your hustle, in your bustle, in your leadership, in your management? Are we feeling sun-kissed and baked? That potato's got a little swimsuit on. Are we feeling frustrated but still crisp? Totting along, yes. I think that's totally thriving. Emotionally loaded but making it work. Okay. Okay. I kind of like the face of that emotionally loaded. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. There's a theme in the house, y'all. Yeah, there's a theme in the house. Okay. Well, I mean, at least we're not mashed up and barely holding it together. So no one has put that yet. So that's good to know. That's good to know. I wanted to, I think it's just important for us. We're all moving quickly from thing to thing and Zoom to Zoom. It's important for us to go, okay, here we are. We've got it. This is home stretch until many of us close the computer for maybe a week or 2 weeks or even a couple days. What are we all holding in the room? Thank you for sharing. And you are welcome to use this as your not official screening and assessment. No, just for yourself, Okay. Our theme today is about sustainability, and our theme today is about thinking about how we're closing this year and entering this next year. There's this beautiful clip, and I linked it at the very bottom. So if you have the PDF to the slides, there's a beautiful clip of this interview with Toni Morrison and Frank McCourt. And in this interview, Toni Morrison, she's asked by Juan Williams, so Toni, how do you survive whole in a world where we're all victims of something, where we're all just receiving, we're all emotionally loaded and making it work? And she said so gorgeously in her Toni Morrison way, do something interesting that you respect in between birth and death. Do something that you respect in between birth or death. So we're moving from kind of like a funny, lighthearted potato check-in in the chat. I just want to invite you to take a quiet moment to think about your BHSSA work right now. What is feeling interesting? Do something interesting that you respect in between birth and death. What is feeling interesting, either to you or other people, or what might be contributing to your wholeness, or that of your teams or that of your communities? And I'm going to invite folks to chat waterfall. What comes up for you when you hear that quote and how it's relating to your BHSSA work in this moment. Whatever interesting means to you. Yeah. And also welcome folks if you want to unmute or raise hand and share out loud. Want to welcome you for that. Welcome that as well. Okay. Being able to help improve systems, living your purpose, finding a match between vocation, job, and career, giving students a voice to be their own wellness champions, collaboration with community partners. Yeah, that is always interesting. Sometimes that in like the interesting can be many different ways of that word interesting. Watching staff and partners consistently choose relationships, connection, and building fear at building. Wait, I'm going to say that a different way. Watching staff and partners consistently choose relationships and connection, building over fear and overwhelm. Beautiful. New and interesting ways to do screening and surveying, especially with students. Matt's already inspired by the mashed potato screener that was just introduced. Figuring out how the pieces of the legislative pie all fit together. Okay, cool. When you figure that out, Ashley, let us know, and we'd love to have you teach us how that's all happening. Okay, we've got a lot of collaborations with young folks and partners. I want to remind us that when we think about this, do something interesting that you respect in between birth and death. That, of course, Toni Morrison was speaking about our lives, but that can also be about the birth of a project or a funding wave or an initiative and its sunset, or it can be about the start of a partnership or an end of a partnership. Having something that makes us go, ooh, or Okay. I want to just see if there's anyone who would be interested in unmuting and sharing out loud of either what this quote is evoking for you, what is feeling interesting, or what's contributing to your wholeness, so that we can hear from each other. Okay. Yeah, Ahmad, thank you for being here. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no worries. I think a lot of times when we get asked like that question, looking at the question that was asked, Toni Morrison and her response, I think we contextualize these things more like in the workplace a lot of times, and we are whole people, and our lives are, while we do a lot of things in work, we have like lives outside of work. And so for me, it's like one of the things I always try to think about is like my daughters and being a girl dad, and what are things that I do and how do carry myself and conduct myself in a way to make sure that I'm setting a standard for them of like, hey, this is how male figures should be treating you, should be acting, should be, showing respect, being courteous, being equitable. And so for me, some of the things I sometimes do are not even like work related. I mean, they carry over, but they really are like they hit closer to home of like, hey, do I want to use that language? Do I want to hear them see that? Do I want to act in a certain way? And I'll use it and just, maximizing the time because it was last night. My preteen likes to take like hour showers. Um, can't wait till she's a teenager. But preteen likes to take like hour showers. So I was just like, okay, well, at that point, I was like, all right, everyone's going to bed. I went out back, whatever, not, sitting down, doing whatever. And she comes like at 10:30, way past her bedtime, like, hey, can you tuck me in? And I was like, dude, why are you in the shower so long? And why are you coming like you should have been asleep an hour ago? And part of me was just going to be like, no, go to bed. And I was just like, no. She wants me to not tug him, but spend the time. I go like, they're not going to be this age forever. You work
Yeah.
and live so that you can provide for the family. And I was just like, you're not always going to have those opportunities. So I was like, you know what? Yes, give me a second. I got up, put all the stuff, went over there, only to just put a blanket over her, do her little good night routine in one way. But it was more of like, it's those little things and times that I think it's like we make time for work and for the communities and people we serve, which we absolutely should, but don't forget that our families and our children and our people around us are also part of those communities and making sure that we don't forget to give them some time and attention. And so for me, it's again, like I said, it's those things. And last night it was just like, I was about to go like, dude, it is past your bed. And I was just like, you know what? I was like, it's past your bedtime. Just give me a second. I'll be right there. So I was about to kind of try to wiggle my way out of it. And I was like, no, dude, get up and go spend 5 minutes with your kid. It's fine. You'll be okay.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
I guess my context, long story short, is it's great to do these things and we talk about, what we do for the community. And at the same time, don't forget about yourselves and your loved ones and your people around you. Because we're all part of the larger world and community as well. So let's
great.
not focus on work, but also, loop in some of the household stuff too.
That's right. Beautiful. Thank you, Ahmad. If any, many of us know you and your work with a capital W and your work with a lowercase w. I don't know what that means, but your work and work. And we know that one of the values that you walk this world with is integrity. And what you shared is what are the ways that yes, we can be proud of a partnership and an amazing MOU and we can figure out the funding. And also, what happens if we've lost the way that we want to live this world with our full hearts, even with all of that? And so I think what I want to welcome, thank you also for modeling, unmuting and sharing the insides that are always leading us and informing the outsides. I want to take a moment to see if anyone else would like to share or speak to that second question. What is contributing to your wholeness or your team's wholeness or your community's wholeness in this moment? Mm. Mm. Yeah. I also recognize that many of us said we were all emotionally loaded and just making it work. So even thinking about maybe the question of how are you being whole in a time when we're all just trying to get through might be a hard both and to hold. But let's hold it together as community throughout this conversation today, particularly as Miriam and Stephanie lead us through thinking about sustainability, not only in the doing, but also in the being, in how we're showing up for each other and showing up for those with whom we get to work. It's a beautiful interview. Just putting that out there in case you want to click the link and hear more. Okay, I'm going to invite us, Stephanie and Miriam are going to come on spotlight, but before we do that, I am going to invite us to just do one body motion to settle into that. We started off with thinking about who we're giving money to for Giving Tuesdays, and then we thought about how we're feeling, and then we just landed in that conversation about what is interesting and what is meaningful and what is creating wholeness. So let's just do a shoulder roll. I'm going to invite us to get to kind of luxuriate. Yeah, that is the word, luxuriate in learning from our peers, Stephanie and Miriam, who are going to bring us on a road trip to Imperial. So I'm going to hand it off to you and thank you for leading this conversation.
Wonderful. I'm so pleased right now. I'm so pleased. This is what we hope for. This is the setting. We're very well aware we are in December, and it has been an amazing year, an impactful year, a heavy year, all the things. And what we saw in the chat, the potato was very telling. And so we had options for what our teach-in wanted to be. Today in December, we have a whole team of TCTs with expertise, and we deliberately chose sustainability. We want to really flip this topic on its head a little bit in honor of the end of the year. Leora, Stephanie, and I have been talking about sustenance. We're even, playing with the word sustainability, sustenance, in the spirit of sustenance, right, Leora? In the spirit of sustenance, that was our intent. So here we are. So thank you so much for giving us this time. My name is Miriam Belopolsky. I also go by Bell, Miriam Bell. I'm the Senior Director of the Student Wellbeing and Family Resources Department with ICOE, Imperial County Office of Education. I come to you, I come before you as a BHSSA grantee, 002. And a technical coaching team lead for sustainability. It's such a privilege. And I'll let my partner Stephanie introduce herself.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Stephanie Ramirez. I am the Clinical Program Manager for Student Wellbeing and Family Resources, and I serve as your BHSSA TCT Coordinator for Sustainability, working alongside Miriam. And we are so happy to be here today to share with you a little bit on just sustenance and sustaining our work as we move ahead in the new year.
Wonderful. And like Stack said, what is you've seen this, I'm sure by now, but again, these are just placeholders. We always like to frame who we are. Stack does it. We also do it as a BHSSA TCT. We're 3 counties, like Leora said. We're 3 counties that serve as a team, technical coaching team, and we provide peer training and technical assistance to you all. This is our audience, our 57 BHSSA, 57 out of 58 BHSSA funded counties. And so we're here for you. Tehama County is in the room. Jonelle and Sarah are here. Placer County, Allie Murphy and Christina Trentz are here for program implementation and Imperial County Partnership Development. Our team members, Denise Cavani and Irene, take care of partnership development, and Stephanie and I take care of the focus area for sustainability. And we work as technical coaches to provide TTA to help you successfully implement and sustain your programs beyond the funding, and develop a wide range of strategies to build excellent, comprehensive student mental health programs in so many counties, virtually all counties in California that were funded. So framing sustainability. So to get us started, I want to do a chat waterfall. So get your answers ready in the chat. Don't release them just yet. Just get your answer ready in the chat and I'll let you know when to release it. So to get ourselves started, when you hear the word sustainability, what is the first, and we're emphasizing first, what is the first thing that comes to mind? Don't release your answers yet. Start typing it in the chat. I'll give you 5 more seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and release your word now. Wonderful. Money. Renewable. Wow. Staying alive. Long-term. Permanent. Wonderful. Time. Partnerships. So yes, 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 right? Continuous, keep going. Money, right? Ability to continue. It's all of that, right? It's all of that. Thank you for participating in our chat waterfall. It is all of that. And what we're presenting to you today is nothing that you don't know already. We're providing a framework for an opportunity to think and reflect and consider where you are right now, ending 2025, and where you're going in 2026 and beyond. So with that, more to come. I will turn it over to Stephanie.
Yes, let me see.
I'm trying to.
Oh,
I
was clicking on it, so but
okay.
1 second.
Are you it? Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so why sustainability matters? So obvious reasons, right? Money, funding, keeping programs alive. We all know that BHSSA grants funding is time limited, but our student needs are not. Just because we don't no longer have the money to be funding our services, student needs do not stop. And so we need to continue diving deeper as to our why to continue our services. So one of the things that when we think of sustainability, embedding programs into school-based systems that outlast funding cycles is one of the most important things that we all have thought of, we've worked on, and we planned within our counties, of course. And also it protects the continuity for students, families, schools, and communities. So we don't have to really search far to know where our values and what we really want to sustain in our work. And it's mainly for the population that we serve and where we live. And also it reduces program cliffs. From one year to another, you have school-based mental health services, and the next year, perhaps they're reduced or they're no longer existing. And so one of the questions that we ask is, what kind of message does that send to our youth if from one year they are receiving these services and the next year they're not? And so we really want to emphasize re-emphasize our why, and get ourselves motivated to continue the work, although we don't really need much of that, but it's just always in the back of our mind when we do this work. And some of the domains of sustainability that we are going to speak on today, and we really encourage you all to reflect on your own programs and the work that you are doing, is because it's more than funding. It's about the 5 Ps. It's really about people, the workforce, and the champions that you have at your sites, practices and programs, how we integrate into school systems, our partnerships connecting to community agencies, policy, embedding our practices, our best practices in policy, and also using proof to motivate data-driven and show impact on the work that we are doing. And so we're going to break these down in a bit, and we really want to express or explore a little bit more on some of the common barriers for sustainability that for us as in Imperial County, we knew early on, and it drove our work to be more intentional to continue sustaining the work here. So one of the things that we saw early on was that we cannot be over-reliant on just one funding source. We needed to move ahead right away to secure blended funding streams. Lack of policy systemic integration, we knew that we had to refine our services for BHSSA and try to integrate that into school systems and policies there. We, of course, with collaboration, we searched data gaps, and we wanted to provide some resources to fill in those gaps, to be data-driven for best practices and really engage our partners and our stakeholders to be part of our mission. And staff turnover, of course, we know in mental health, there's a lot of burnout. We needed to also engage other partners, other existing school partners that are going to continue the work and help us move the work along. So that way we don't feel this, service cliff of staff. And weak community partnerships. So we knew that our partners were very important, and we needed to really reinforce those partners and that shared vision. Some of the reliance strategies that we found was diversity funding. I think we all, at this point, we're all exploring district, county, state, federal, and philanthropic funding sources if available. We are in different counties, so our resources will vary and be different. So that is something that we are cognizant of. To codify practices into policy or administrative regulations has been another resilience strategy that we sought out that was great. Train multiple staff for continuity, how I had mentioned, and use data to advocate for support. Lastly, we also formalize MOUs and/or collaboration agreements with partners to continue the work alive. And so these are just some resilience strategies in a nutshell and a little summary of what we have done as we move along and we start moving into the Ps, but we'll share a little bit on our little background for Imperial County and BHSSA.
So just to give you context, like Stephanie mentioned, we're going to use our Imperial County BHSSA as a snapshot for our discussion today. And emulating the 5 Ps within our respective programs as a context. So for Imperial County, our partnership is between Imperial County Behavioral Health Services. That is the intention of BHSSA funding. That is the non-negotiable, and it has worked in Imperial County. We come from Imperial County Office of Education, but our our primary partner with Imperial County Behavioral Health, has worked. It has strengthened our partnership and our collaboration and our fragmentation wholeheartedly in Imperial County. Who we chose to serve are high schools. Are all of our 8 school districts that have high schools, which comprise 21 different high schools. That was our audience that we chose to serve in Imperial County. This is our, at ICOE, our county superintendent, our deputy, myself, Denise Cavania, who's here, Stephanie, we decided in Imperial County that ICOE, Imperial County Office of Education, would be the lead implementing agency for our program. Although our lead fiscal agency is Imperial County Behavioral Health, they are implementers also as well in our program, very strategically so. So they are very, very much partners, and they are our fiscal agent as well. And of course, our Commission for Behavioral Health. The beauty about this slide is that we're in 002, right? So we're in program grant / program year 5. And the people on these slides have been continuous through the duration of our program. They are the same people that started with us in program grant year 1 that are with us in program grant year 5. So that has been a blessing and really has really helped shaped the sustainability of our BHSSA program in Imperial County. And this was our model. We were funded, we applied in 2019 to be funded in 2020. We were not funded in 2020. We were funded in 2021. And back then when we were applying, this was our Imperial County program model. We received the award to start our program in 2021. For 4 years. We're finishing off our spend down for grant year 5. And we were 4 grants that were funded for small counties to begin new partnerships with Imperial County Behavioral Health. And that's the flyer that we used with our high school community and our communities at large to begin right from the start, educating all of our stakeholders and community members about what was coming. Okay, so I'll turn it to Stephanie.
Yeah, and then our purpose for BHSSA, the goal was really to achieve placing all our stakeholders in one room and to enhance these partnerships. So we really wanted to get our COE, ICOE, behavioral health departments, and our districts all in one room together to really address the mental health services in our county and how are we going to serve our students and reduce fragmentation and provide easier access to mental health services. And so by that, one of the 3 key goals that we always emphasize when speaking to partners or engaging partners is that the access to quality mental health services are foundational when developing healthy, resilient adults. So the access, we really wanted to increase access to mental health. And reaching our students in the school setting was a practical first step of contact because they do spend the majority of time at school. Why not start there? And schools provide an opportunity for early identification and early intervention to address any behavioral health needs that might undermine their healthy developments, because we have staff teachers that are get to know our students very well and keep an eye on them. So we really want to engage them to be part of our mental health team and be able to help support the process and the access and linkage to mental health services. So this is BHSSA, although we do have our staff, it does not end with our staff. We engage the entire school and district as possible.
And in 2021, that's when we officially became the Imperial County School-Based Mental Health Consortium. That is our 8 school district, high school district leadership, and it is very much alive today. And it really has empowered our program to be a foundation, it's really starting to really be woven into the fabric of this community. It's here to stay. Our consortium is comprised of superintendents, district districts of special projects, assistant superintendents. And so these are the folks, CBOs, these are the folks that really have leverage and power to really amplify our funding and ensure that we are sustaining our program. And so as you see here, our partners, our district partners comprise of our 8 high school districts, which really includes all of the high schools in Imperial County, and we have 21 that we are serving and have served through the duration of our program. Our overarching goal is, for us, what was most key was establishing and mostly refining a comprehensive interagency system between Imperial County Behavioral Health Services, ICOE, and our local high schools. Many of you, as were us, were increasing mental health awareness and school staff capacity through a systemic mental health education plan. Most of us are reducing mental health stigma. That is the purpose of our BHSSA program. We infuse trauma-informed practices into all aspects of our local high schools, and we're teaching staff to embed those practices as well, and of course, connecting families and community to our efforts. And so here is what we did with local funding sources and BHSSA. We were funded for 5 FTE, school-based mental health specialists, and were hired in 2021 through just the grant. The beauty and the power of our Imperial County School-Based Mental Health Consortium is that they saw, to serve the needs of 8 school districts, that 5 FTE, school-based mental health specialists who are licensed therapists, some of them are associates, was not going to be sufficient. So with local funding, they elevated and braided funding sources to ensure that we were able to hire 11 additional FTE therapists using their own local funding sources. And we continue to braid and blend funding sources today. And so, yeah, Imperial County's BHSSA, our sustainability journey, what were our early wins? There was alignment with Imperial County Office of Ed and behavioral health leadership from the get-go. Our partnership has only strengthened over the years, but we wanted to ensure that once our grant was launched, that we were aligned in our leadership and our mission and our vision. We had district buy-in very, very early on, and we had dedicated therapists that we hired to be part of our team. Barriers are typical barriers that many of us experience is leadership turnover, perhaps shifting and competing priorities, and ensuring that our purpose and our services were just as important. But the strategies that we used, we ensured that our funding was diverse, that our district started cost sharing immediately, and the lessons were that we needed to adapt to something new. We needed to ensure that we were embedded into school systems and school policy, and we needed to diversify in order to sustain our program. And so this picture really warms my heart. This is grant year 2 of our program, when the Commission for Behavioral Health paid Imperial County a visit, and who you see there are our district leadership, our therapists, our partners with Imperial County Behavioral Health Services, and about 18 members and visitors from the Commission. Tina?
Hi, Miriam. I just wanted to highlight a question from Jennifer Edwards. What was the local funding?
What were the source of the local funding? Yeah, we've been asked that. What we've heard is a variety of, we've heard many things, tapping into community schools funding. And so what we're learning, we don't really ask what funding sources that they're using specifically, a variety. But what message we're getting is that it's short-term funding in order to show evidence of impact, so that it maintains within their regular funding streams. So that's a question we've heard several times, and we're actually meeting with our consortium in a couple of next week, and we want to gather a little bit more information about what types of funding sources they're actually utilizing. Stephanie, did we hear Title I as well?
We heard right now that they are using like other excess funds that they have to currently sustain. It's short term while they seek more long term. However, next week we will be tackling that question to really get more ideas on what the local funding looks like for our districts. And yeah, they are exploring Title I. However, they are seeing also that there's some obstacles sometimes because I guess Title I you cannot provide services under minor consent. So there's obstacles here and there. So they're still exploring for long-term sustainability for through local district funding there. So we will get back to everybody with this question. This is definitely the top of our list as well. And we will be exploring this further. Thank you for that question.
Yep. Very good. Thank you, Stephanie.
And currently with BHSSA, our existing structure and how it goes, our Imperial County focus on direct services and linkage and referral to all students. So our program serves all students in our districts. We provide a multi-level tiered service to be able to reach school-wide, and then we specify in Tier 2 and Tier 3. Tier 3 is really our specialty with our level of therapist skill set. Because we saw that we have talented psychologists and school counselors. We saw that there was a gap, and we wanted to really emphasize and close that gap for the mental health needs that were being experienced on campuses and we're seeing with students with our therapists on campuses. So we do a lot of our focus in Tier 3. We live in Tier 3 technically. And we do partner with Imperial County Behavioral Health. They are our partners, and for intensive care coordination for those that really need that higher level of care, that need that psychiatric evaluation, more intensive therapies or case management. We have our behavioral health liaison, Felipe Munoz, who is our warm handoff when referring our students to higher level of care. And he is our contact person with releases of information, of course, being able to communicate on how the students progress and where they are in their mental health treatment through behavioral health. And then also he helps coordinate with us as with the care coordinators with behavioral health on how we can further support our students on campus. Because these students, although they are referred to behavioral health, they continue being seen by the specialists either through check-ins and just reinforcing skills that they're learning through behavioral health. And then part of our role for Miriam and myself is that we do specialize in our weekly check-ins and consultation. We meet with our therapists weekly for 3 hours, where we provide opportunities for networking and alignment of our services across districts, because not our specialists sometimes are by themselves in one school. And so this opportunity allows us to align and really see each other and connect on what is happening across the district, across the county, and be able to calibrate. And those are the opportunities where we are able to provide case consultation for complex cases, for legal and ethical considerations. Miriam is a PPS, has a PPS in school counseling, so she knows that side of it as well. And then I'm a licensed clinical social worker, so I'm able to provide that other side. And so together, Miriam and I really complement our check-in, our weekly check-in with our specialists. Community resource building as well, where if there are ever any community partners that are out there that might benefit from meeting with our specialists, we bring them in for a presentation or a meet and greet. Our program also serves as a crisis response grief counseling and debriefing with schools who might experience losses at their sites. So we get called on. Unfortunately, it's unfortunate that we get called on this, but because of a loss, but when we do, we come in and we help support our districts and our students and staff. And we also provide ongoing training and leadership skill development. We continue building on our therapist skills and monitoring license registration compliance to practice mental health. So we do assure that they are continually and in good standing registered with BBS, the Board of Behavioral Sciences. But we do not provide the clinical supervision aspect of it. They, in addition, obtain clinical supervision if they are associates. And Miriam and I become readily available if there's ever a need for a consultation in between. And so starting with the P, the first P, and I kind of dove into that a little bit, but the first P for sustainability is people, workforce, our champions and peer leaders. We really want to emphasize the quality and taking care of our people. We have hired licensed and associate therapists. They have a high skill set to provide mental health interventions on campus. They engage and train our peer leaders on campus as well. And so we currently have ongoing peer leader groups in the cities of Raleigh, Calexico, El Centro, and Imperial. And so they provide a lot of peer-to-peer engagement. And we're changing definitely the culture on campuses because we are normalizing reducing mental health stigma of accessing mental health services. So we are it is becoming really friendly, and students are able to identify peers who are involved in mental health. And so if they feel ever shy of or express a concern to their peer about something that they're experiencing, that other person is able to bring them over to our specialist or to the school counselor or the psychologist or a trusted adult on campus. So I think this is one of our success stories. And that's a picture of our specialist at the end of last school year of year 4. And then identifying on-site school champions as well to advocate for school-based mental health. The task in the beginning from year 1 was that our specialists had to engage and really involve one site administrator to be the champion of mental health because they already had the buy-in and we were coming in as guests. So we wanted them to really engage them and be able to help lead and advocate for school-based mental health. So they saw the vision and we moved alongside with them. We helped to build it up. And here are some photos. Oh, so BH, of course, a good program is not good without strong leaders. And I really owe that. This is attributed to Miriam and Denise. Miriam is the BHSSA co-lead and the program director. From year 1, Miriam has been involved in the engagement and taking care of all aspects of our specialists, really keeping that morale up to avoid the staff turnover. So we've had amazing specialists. Miriam is really great, has a good eye on selecting amazing therapists for our program. And I think that is attributed to our success. And Denise Cabanilla, of course, she has a strong skill set in gathering people together and really engaging and opening up these difficult conversations and facilitating that. So both Miriam and Denise have been vital and amazing to our BHSSA program. Yeah, no, and then I came in as a 3rd year, but as a clinical program manager, but to help sustain and help work on with the specialists on their clinical skills. Happening here. And these are our specialists. So I just want to show a photo of some of our specialists that we have. We currently have 13 active school-based mental health specialists. As you see here, some are licensed, some have a PPS in school counseling, and some are associates. So these are just a few photos of our 13 school-based mental health specialists, just to come to life. In addition to that, just some photos as well of our student leadership. This was taken in October for World Mental Health Awareness Day that we had an event here at our local community college. And so our specialists have brought in their student leaders to an off-campus field trip and involve them in World Mental Health Day and access resources and workshops to bring back to their campuses. Another one is our school mental health champions. We really owe a tribute to them. We cannot have gone far without them. These are our specialists photographed with their site administrators, consisting of principals, vice principals, and other supportive staff that they have. So amazing collaboration. The second P. So the second P here, sorry, anybody want to say something? Oh, no, I thought it was just me. Okay. Practices and programs. So implementing best practices here. Wait, is that you, Mary?
Yes. So we're going to pivot a little bit because we want to get you into breakouts. And so we shared one example, and know that you're going to have time in your breakouts for this. The second P is practices. The third P are all about partnerships. Don't worry, you're going to get more into this in your breakout. The fourth P, these are examples of how we support in building strong partners. More examples. Our fourth P is about all around policy, embedding program into policy in order to outlast funding. And our fifth P, of course, is proof and data and stories that demonstrate impact. So it needed to just move us along because we want to get you in breakouts. Stephanie, you want to just kind of tell a little bit of some key takeaways?
Yes, and some of the key takeaways here that we learned and that we're taking with us is that embedding staff directly into schools is definitely one of the high impacts we're seeing. You see a screenshot here of our success story with one of our specialists. A lot of time and time again, they continue reflecting on how their engagement with students for mental health services would not have been possible if they had not been on campus to see them day in and day out. And they slowly started gaining their trust because they are encountering a lot of students who shy away from mental health, that refuse mental health services for a long time. And then finally, once they build that rapport, they were able to engage. And so and also building relationships with administrators early on was key and pivotal, not just with administrators, but just with partners. And so partnerships definitely were essential to funding and to continue our sustainability process. Having that consortium and having everybody in that same space to be able to speak on the needs of our students and the shared vision within our districts was definitely vital for continuing looking ahead. And BHSSA right now, what we have is that we are sustaining 13 school-based mental health specialists through local district funds right now. And these are our districts. We also obtained SB HIP funding that's going to help support and move forward the work with our 13 school-based mental health specialists.
Wonderful. Leora, should we take them right into break? Yes? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
let's go. Okay, so first I want to say thank you to Stephanie and Miriam for preparing such a rich local TCT share from Imperial County. Join me in chat for sharing a thank you. Maybe it's one takeaway, one ooh, one ah. We know that some of you were like, wait, how are you gonna, we want funding, we want to know more. So I welcome you in chat to share a takeaway or a noticing or a congratulations to our peers. I'm going to drop in chat. These are the breakout rooms we want to open and invite you to. So there will be 5 rooms. You'll get to choose your own. In a moment, Nikki will launch them and you'll hover your mouse over. And if you want to talk about the people, about the practices and programs, partnerships, policies, or proof, it is up to your own adventure. Hi, everyone. Hi. Oh, that was a good stretch I just saw someone do. Should we all do that stretch? Whatever that was. Stacy, I was kind of mirroring you. Okay. Hi, welcome back, colleagues. I want to welcome you to share a thank you in the chat for the conversation or a part of the conversation or something that felt really generative. I'm gonna invite Miriam back on stage with me. We got a good glimpse that the conversation about programs and practices felt really big and full. So I just want to take a moment. Again, we can thank our facilitators, we can thank a colleague, we can thank ourselves for a conversation point that happened in the chat. And we do have time now, Miriam and Stephanie, if you want to do a quick carousel for a 30-minute, a 30-second round from someone from each room to share their sustainability gem. Miriam and Stephanie, do you want to take us away?
Yeah, sure. We really want to hear a little bit. Miriam and I were jumping in different breakout rooms, or just to listen to the conversations and just trying to see how where everybody was. And I know there was a lot of conversation at each group. So for breakout group 1, people, Was there anything that stood out, anything that was good? And we'll just go down the rooms, just something, a little gem that you caught from that group, whoever's willing to share.
Think I'm in the breakout room 1. Um, so I learned from Dennis' model about collaboration. It's also very hopeful to see when the Grand Sunset and they have a collaboration with school district with trust, with collaborative, and they can sustain those mental health positions for 13 specialists. That's a wonderful, and there's no gap too. So who will be inviting it? Who will be the champion? And then that's very powerful model story to hear at this time of the year, and especially a lot of things are changing for the policy administrations. I just very hopeful to see this model work, collaboration work, relationship work.
Thank you, Vera. It's very intentional. I think that's one of the things that we were picking up in that group, that the people and how you share and communicate and who you group together, very, very intentional, and the work that's being done and to continue sustaining. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Group 2, for practices and programs. Anybody willing to share a little gender?
Sure. Hi, so my name is Macy. I am a division director over children's services with Merced County Behavioral Health. So really interesting to hear all the school perspectives through BHSSA. So what I shared during the group was that in Merced County, we actually partner with our county office of ed here in Merced to open up a student resiliency center in our downtown Merced area. And it's actually a co-location with some of their other adjunct programming through the County Office of Ed. So we're not in their school campuses, but we are at a central location with other programs. But we do go out to the schools, provide presentations, trainings, staff dev supports, resource tabling, sharing information across the LEAs here in our county. And one of the things that we kind of talked about in the group also is that, really hearing the school language and then also sharing the mental health language is so essential because we speak clinical and you speak educational. And so this is really an opportunity for us to be able to blend our languages together so that we find, that mutual point of conversations where we can, be able to support one another, in turn supporting our youth in our community. So that was just something I was volunteered to share with the group.
Thank you, Macy. I think Imperial County has also experienced that, how to find a common language. We were speaking different languages, but trying to explain the same thing. That was a conversation early on. And I know if anybody joined the sunsetting, for those that attended the sunsetting, Denise and Irene spoke on that when Imperial County started with when we started building our partnerships in Imperial County. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, and part of that too is that when we went into this agreement with the County Office of Ed, we agreed to a 30-year lease contract with our building. So that really kind of obligates us to, become better partners as we maintain our lease. So, yeah.
Thank you. And then for breakout room 3 for partnerships, just a gem, something, just a 30-second share. Something you took from that.
I'll I'll do it for my team. So we talked about the importance of intentionally engaging with our partners to impact the whole system, the ecosystem, but without oversaturating our partners, because it may lead to engagement fatigue when we request our partners to be constantly present and in meetings and events, and sometimes it's the same people that we're targeting. So it's engaging them with intention And then we also discussed that the best partnership that we can have is our students, right? Like those are at the end of the day, their voices are what matters. They're important, and so even having them as a partner is essential.
Hey, thank you, Irene. Intentionally engaging, right? Without oversaturating. How many meetings have we gone to sometimes that we just feel, but very intentional. I think the word that is the buzzword here that we need to take with us for intentionality. Breakout room 4 for policies. Anybody willing to share a quick gem? Christy, thank you. Policy can be as strong as the voice of the people. Practices, partnerships improve. These inputs are critical to supportive, sustaining policy. Yes. Strong voice. Voice of the people policy. Thank you so much. And then I saw group 5, was it? Group 5 resonated by Patty. Resonated to me was the power of student stories in addition to quantitative data as a tool to help gain support for ongoing funding. The power of student stories. Yes, thank you so much. You were hearing from the impacted themselves, right? They're receiving the services and now they're sharing their stories. And so what's more powerful than coming from a student and who has received the services that we are providing? Thank you. Thank you for that share out. We really appreciate the participation and for everybody, and we hope that there was some sort of a small gem that you were able to take from our presentation and that you're able to move forward with you for the next school year. And of course, we are available for any TA. If there was anything from your breakout groups with your TCTs, we are available to continue the conversation. This is not the end. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Stephanie. Thanks, Miriam. And thanks, everyone, for unmuting or chat sharing all the gems. Really appreciate the opportunity to end our year or close this calendar year, Gregorian calendar year, with a moment for us to think about those 5 Ps and also that framework of the 5 Ps that can allow us to have a moment of where do I feel really comfortable and where do I feel really curious. And that can also guide us as we're thinking about 2026 beyond. Like if I'm feeling really comfortable talking about sustaining practices, but feeling curious about policy, that might mean that that's a good leadership lean in for 2026. Okay, colleagues, 2:30. We're going to have a moment, speaking of a year of wholeness and sustenance. Miriam opened us with that word sustenance, and we were sharing that the theme of this collaboration call, is keeping the work alive. We're have a moment to shift into thinking about, just like Ahmad reminded us, what do we need as leaders, as managers, as folks in the work to keep our humanity centered so that we can then advocate for others' humanity to be centered. I really just love this quote from the great teacher, Prentice Hemphill, who says, "The healing of communities does not come from the top down or the outside in. It happens when we show up for each other in all of our imperfect humanity." There's this phrase many of us have heard, end the year strong. And I want to invite us to be curious about what would it feel like and be like to end the year soft? What would it look like and feel like to end 2025 with a little bit of and that 5 minutes of, as we were kind of moving to go, here we are, here's where we want to be, here's where we want to go. Part of that work offers us a question and a moment to be in reflection of how we're going to be resourcing ourselves and resourcing each other. This is a verb that Hala Khoury, so many of you might know her, maybe you don't. Her name is Hala Khoury, and she's a therapist and a somatic teacher, and she offers us that instead of using the words maybe resource in the financial way, although we know that we need that too, that we can also talk about resourcing in many other ways to keep the work alive and the people who are doing the work alive. And so I want to remind us that when we're talking about sustainability and resources, we're talking about our own internal resources, our own emotional readiness, our self-attunement, our own healing work, what brings us here. We might be talking about our intra resources, are ways that we're coming together to be seen and witnessed, or to be in curiosity, or grapple with a dilemma. Or we might be talking about our external resources, how we have power, and hopefully power with, not only power at, but power with. Or where might we have decision-making capital that we can really bend and curve some influence and impact. And so when we think about all of those resources, in addition to the fiscal ones, we can start to broaden the way that we want to reimagine or ideate the work for 2026. I can't believe I'm saying the word 2026 out loud, everyone. That is wild. So I'm going to invite you, we'll have another moment to gather in different formation. And this time the formation will be by kind of grant cohort. And many of you in the asterisk and the number, where you've got multiple identities. You're a category 2 and you're also category 4. Choose your own adventure, whichever room you want to go into. And no matter what, we're going to invite you to spend time with one of these questions, just one that you want to answer and respond to. They obviously go some from like the most technical to others the most adaptive, and you get to choose where you are in the space and time and where you want to share. And some might be questions that you might just take home with you in your pocket. A colleague was naming that last question, if your BHSSA work suddenly became magically easy, kind of had a ring of motivational interviewing to it. Does anyone sound alone from it? And that's because it is. So we get to kind of swim in the waters of our own moment of motivation too. So in a moment, Nikki will open the breakout rooms one more time. There will be a room for categories 2, 3. Then there will be phase 4 universal screening, phase 4 at Promise Youth, phase 4 sustainability, and phase 4 other priorities. Again, you get to choose which cluster, which room you want to go to. And we'll get to spend a little bit of time in these questions. And if you are not in the mood to be in another discussion, I welcome you to stay in the main room and maybe journal to these, or just to have quiet time to think about how you might answer them.